Well, g'day folks, how you going? I just wanted to jump on this live, unscheduled, but I know that somebody last week asked me about editing video files in Lightroom based on the presentation I did on Monday night, I believe it was, regarding snow landscapes, or it might have even been last week. I can't remember. But I know that somebody was interested, or a few of you are interested out there. So I just wanted to put this together. I'm just going to check sure and make sure this is all working live on Facebook. So just bear with me 2 seconds here on my own page. I hope it's all working. Just give me a thumbs up. Just let me know that you guys are here and that it's all working okay. So what I wanted to show you was what I've done here in my Lightroom in order to put together. That's right, it was a presentation on the Mornington Peninsula. It was a presentation I did on drones. Great, I'm now back on track here and I know what I'm doing. All right, so let me just jump in here to Lightroom and show you what goes on, okay? So here what I've done is I've created on the side here collections that have got, or a collection, well, I've got many collections here in my Lightroom catalog. This is just my Lightroom catalog for the Mornington Peninsula. This one here, I've created here that says MP, standing for Mornington Peninsula Drone Show Reel. So these are the number of different video clips that I've just put into my own collection to then have it deal as a slideshow. So just to perhaps jump out of this for a second here, I will just show you that within my catalog, this is, you know, where the drone folio sits, or the photos sit. Let me just go back in there and see if I can bring that up again. Where is that sitting, that drone video? It's right here, right? So this is the drone video that I have, okay? And if I'm just going to open this up, you'll notice that this clip here that I have is just a small part of it all. So what I want to show you is that if you've got a drone video within your Lightroom catalog, the only thing that you can do is within the library catalog. You can't do anything in the develop catalog, okay? You can't do anything there. When you go into develop, it just says video is not supported in develop. So this is really basic video editing. If you're wanting to do something more spectacular, you have to do it in a different program. I don't want to learn that program. I don't have time to edit video. At the end of the day, my purpose is just to be able to put together a little show reel like I showed you in that drones video that I did, the presentation I did last week. And this is the most basic way I've found to do it. Of course, there's more advanced options. And if you have the time and the inclination, there's things like, you know, Premiere Pro and all sorts of things. Just Google it and you'll be able to find different software in order to edit and develop your video files. I just do it here in Lightroom because obviously I'm more a photographer than I am a videographer, but I've found this way works for me, just to create a little short video show reel to show off the videos that I do take both with my drone and with my still camera. Okay, so with that, when you come into your library, double click on the photograph, it turns it full screen, and down the bottom here you have the play button, you have the slider that shows you which part of the video you're at. And then obviously you have this this cog, okay? You click on that in order to trim your video, okay? Simply just by moving these sections back and forth. Now, I'm not going to do this with this video because I just don't want to stuff this up for the rest of this little tutorial. But what I am going to do is just go photo, create virtual copy. The shortcut on a Mac is Command apostrophe, okay? I've created the virtual copy there. Here now, when we go in here, it'll just take a little while to sort itself out. Let's just click off that, go back in again. Where are we? Just here, it seems. Okay, and now I can. This is the whole video, you see, right? So it actually started way back here, and I'm droning towards this ship that's coming in the harbour. It's going to be very jumpy, I'm afraid. The video didn't record all that well for this particular drone sequence, unfortunately. I'm not sure what was happening, but it was quite jumpy anyway. So here I am, I'm belting out with the drone to try and catch up and get this ship as it's coming through the heads. As you can see, it's moving quite fast, and I'm having to now turn the drone to the right in order to be able to try and keep up with the ship. And it was belting along. It's amazing how fast these ships actually move compared to how fast my drone could go. Beautiful still morning. Nonetheless, it really struggled to keep up, but it was a gorgeous morning. The sun was only just coming up or not even, and so it was just a magical moment in order to capture this. Okay, good morning, JP. Thanks for joining me here. Okay, so as you can see, this video is just clunking along, and I find that Lightroom really poorly plays back video. Okay, it seems to render poorly. It seems to take up a lot of memory. So what I tend to do as a quicker way, and this is a little bit clunky, but it works for me. Okay, your computer might work fine in just playing the video and being able to find which part you want to trim. I actually right click on the photograph, or the video I should say, and I just go show in Finder. Okay, right click show in Finder. And what that does is that within Finder, it then shows me the video. Okay, it's stored in my Mornington Peninsula 2019 folder. I double click on that because what that then does is it opens up in QuickTime. Okay, and with that, it seems to play a lot better. Okay, this is still going to be a bit jumpy because, as I said, the video was clunky that morning, some transmission error with the drone itself. So I apologize for that. But do you see how it's playing through quite smoothly, and it's giving me the time frames that I'm going to need? God, it was doing it. It's not doing it great now. Let's just see. There you go. Sometimes it takes a little while to catch up. Sometimes you need to press pause, wait for your computer just to catch up. It depends how long the file footage is, stuff like that, right? So with that, what I do is I then look and I go, all right, okay, yeah, I want from sort of like, 15 seconds through to say 25 seconds. I generally like shorter clips rather than longer clips. I find that people's attention span's pretty low. So at the end of the day, I think after 5 or 6 seconds, people go, yeah, right, okay, we get it. It's a ship coming in the heads, move on, show me something else. With this one, this was quite complex. Just going back into Lightroom, what I did was as I said to you, when I started playing this video, I was way off. I really didn't need this stuff at the start, okay? So with that, I sort of zoomed forward a bit. And when you get to the spot where you want to start your clip, you can then just pause the video here in Lightroom and you can drag this end forward, okay? That's trimming the video, okay? That's gonna trim that video, okay? So you can bring it forward and then you grab the other end, okay, with the 2 vertical lines, and you drag that forward, okay, to where you want it to be, and you press play, okay? And what you should have done is back here in QuickTime Media Player, you should have just remembered, okay, I want from, say, I want from 15 seconds through to 25 seconds, for example. So you go into Lightroom here and you go, right, I want 15. Let's just pull that back. Let's bring this back. Bring this forward. Wait for it to catch up. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. See? Right, so I moved that to 15. I've had to drag that yellow line across. Okay, and with that, I now drag that yellow line across to the right, and now I'm at 25 seconds. I stop and I drag my line in there. Okay, and now I have the 10 seconds of clip that I wanted. Okay, what I do with that then is I just press G on my keyboard, go back to my video here, and I click and drag that and put that into my show reel here. Okay, now when I click on that show reel, you'll see that I have, it's hidden here. Here it is here. Okay, I've got it set to custom order. I'm sorting the custom order because I don't want it set to capture time because that'll shuffle it all around. I want to put these little video clips in an order that makes sense to me, not just I shot that last week and I shot this today, so the last week one will be first and today's one will be last. I've made a custom order and that way I can move these around however I want, okay? You'll see that the one I'd made previously was just 7 seconds compared to 10 seconds. Another tip for you is that you generally do need to allow a little bit of space at the end and at the start in order to just allow for a crossfade, because that's what we're going to do later on. We're going to not just jump from one frame to the next. We're going to fade in and out, and that'll give a nice, smooth, silky smooth transition between the video edits, okay? So we've got that one in here, and you see if you just drag your cursor, I'm not even clicking, I'm just moving my cursor left to right. Lightroom just sort of gives me a preview of what I wanted there. Now I'm just going to delete that for a second, because what I want to show you here is, as you saw back in the original video, back in here somewhere, this video was quite long. It was a minute, okay, as I chased the ship in through the heads. When I came to edit this video and decide what I wanted to do with it for my movie, my slideshow, I thought to myself, oh, wouldn't it be cool if you had it so you sort of started off back, just slowly come forward, and then you jump forward to the next scene where we're closer again, and then you jump forward to the next scene where we're closer again. So what I did, and what I often do with my videos, is I often want small segments out of a video that's much longer than just 5 or 10 seconds, okay? So what I've done, as you can see here, ignore these are photos for a client, okay? Let's just take those out for a second, just remove those out of Lightroom. What I've done here is I've chopped up the video and I've created 4 different videos. Let's get rid of that one as well, because I just did that one. Let's remove that virtual copy there. There's actually 3, ignore that 2 because that's a DNG file, that's a still photo. We're just interested in these 3. It's the same file name, can you see that? I'll just make this bigger so you can see that. It's the same file name. It's DJI0729. This is this one back here at the start. This is 0729. This is the second one, second of 3. I've created 3 virtual copies. I've created 2 virtual copies. I've got the original as well. So I've got 3 copies of this same video. And why have I done that? Because I just took this section from the first video, and then moving to the next video, look, it jumps forward, and I took this section. Just like I said, I took a little bit of video from the start, setting the scene, leading the viewer into what are we looking at here. But rather than showing the whole clip and going, oh my God, a minute worth of, you know, this drone trying to catch up to the boat, what I've done is I've said, right, here's a few seconds of me just way off in the distance, setting the scene. And then what I'm doing is I've jumped forward a little more, and now we're closer. Oh, great. Okay, now we get to see more of the boat. And then for the third sequence, same video, I'm now coming up behind the boat and I'm closer again still. Let's have a close look at that. If I skip back and forward, keep your eye on this edit or this trim marker at the bottom. You'll see this little section comes from further away. The next video jumps forward to the middle part of this longer video, okay? And the final is right at the end there when I've caught up to the boat. So to just play those videos, you can see here, if Lightroom behaves itself. Here we go, just sort of setting the scene, nice lighthouse in the background. We're further off. If we skip forward a bit and play the video again, oh look, we've jumped forward. We're closer still now, okay? Play a little bit more of this video. Jump forward again to the final sequence. And here we have me right on top of the boat and nicely panning that drone around in order to follow it as it heads up the bay. Just incidentally, this is one of the most treacherous pieces of water in the world in which to navigate, and they have to line up. In the background here, you can see these lighthouses. They have to line up those lighthouses one in front of the other in order to then navigate in through this very narrow heads, which has a lot of water pouring in and out of it. You'll see that tide coming through. Anyway, I digress. We have those 3 sequences now. They all got put into my drone show reel, and here you have each of them here, okay? So they transition really nicely between one and the other, okay? And then I've got other videos that I've edited, and you can see down here when it catches up. There's a 14-second drone edit here, just of me flying along, doing a nice little sunrise. Same morning, by the way, down here at Point Nepean here on the Mornington Peninsula. Lovely little spot, okay? So once you've got each of the videos that you think you might like to include in your overall video showcase reel, pop them into a collection, okay? I've got 20 clips here. You can even clip them within these collections. You don't have to clip them first in your catalog and then drag them into the show reel. You can do whatever you like. But what I've done is I've selected some nice ones here, a variety of different options, okay, to make a really nice little show reel showing off the Mornington Peninsula, which is where I live. Hi Maribi, hi Dibos, Lynn, thank you for joining us. I hope you're finding this useful. This will be available on the website to download afterwards if you'd like to watch it again. Keep it for yourself, keep it on your computer. I won't charge for this one. This is just a quick little video just showing you how I edit my videos in Lightroom. Okay, so I've got all my little clips here. Okay, most of these are part of a lot longer clip that I've done. What I tend to do is know when I'm droning that I'm shooting a lot, okay, and I know that I'm only going to get a small part of it. So I'm not intent on trying to find the exact start when I start droning, because that's a good part. I just keep videoing the whole time that I'm flying, and then I know that I can just clip, as I've done here in Lightroom, I can just clip this section, okay, and include that most interesting part in each of my videos. And you can see here that most of them, the number in the bottom left-hand corner is telling me how long each of these clips go for. 7 seconds, 8 seconds, 13 seconds, 14 seconds, 9 seconds, etc., okay? They don't go for very long. I'm going to show you why in a second, okay? We've customized the order. We've sorted the order down the bottom here in a custom order in order to be able to click and drag these and put them wherever we want, okay? We don't want them sorted via any other way. We don't want them sorted via capture time, because that'll muck up our sequence. How did I come about to make up this sequence? Well, I started with a beautiful, soft, early morning light and a really nice sort of dreamy droning sequence where I've got this boat coming into the harbor. And then I've gone into a nice sunrise, and to keep the Nordic theme, I've included a ferry coming in and some nice boats, some kayaks. Then we move into some shots looking overhead of, some surf lifesavers, some kayaks, some people jumping off the pier down the beach. That's around the middle of the day. I've almost got it set up like a sunrise through to sunset, okay? And then a little bit more, this is sunset down at Mount Martha Cove where they keep their boats. And then look, towards the end, we're transitioning into a really nice soft sunset glow, okay? Towards the end, although this one is sunrise, okay? So I tried to come up with some sort of sequence. You'll even see by the colors that I've got here in my collection, we go from some really nice soft morning light through to some harsher daytime light, some nice blues, okay, sunrise or the sun right overhead, and then later in the show reel we go to some softer light again for sunset, okay? Now that we've got all that together and we've got our sequence right, we've clipped all our videos, again, you just clip those by clicking on this cog, I should say, and dragging your clips, your trim marks left and right. Once we've got that, we then go into Slideshow, okay? Go into Slideshow in Lightroom, because this is where we render the video or we produce our final edit, so to speak, okay? So what we do here, just need to move a few things out of the way. We're not really caring about anything else other than we're going to add some music. Please use royalty-free music. Don't just rip anything off the internet, okay? Just Google royalty-free music and download something that you feel works really well, okay? So I've added 2 different little videos or 2 little music sequences there, okay, for my music. And to add it, all you do is just click the plus symbol and search on your hard drive for where you save that royalty-free music to. In this case, it's an MP3. So if I click plus, okay, and open up my computer here and type in MP3, it's going to come up with all of my, all of my music files there, okay? Aside from that, what you'd also do is you can also do playback, okay? So I've done this manually, and what I've done is I've said, well, okay, for the slide length is inconsequential because we're not talking about individual photos, we're talking about video. What is important is this crossfades, which I have it set at about 2.5 seconds, okay? And what that means is that as we transition from one video clip to the other, it's going to fade in and fade out. Remember I said a little bit earlier, you want to allow a little bit of clipping time at the start and the end of your videos, a little bit more than you anticipate, just to allow for that crossfade. If you clip it right at the start or right at the end of a video, you may lose some of that important video because it's transitioning through to the next video, okay, in this 2.5 second crossfade. So you've got to allow a little bit of slack for that, okay? The video audio balance, music to video, just means that if you've shot some video that might have some audio in it, like you might have been at a waterfall and you've done some video and you can hear the waterfall falling, that will balance what you shot in the video, the audio in your video, with the music, okay? So you could have 50-50 and have half of the music that you've got and half of the waterfall, or you could just have the waterfall and cut the music out altogether, or you can just go the music and not hear the waterfall, okay? In this case, it's all drone, so we don't have audio, and so therefore we can move that all the way across to the right, but it's inconsequential for this purpose, okay? We're not going to repeat the slideshow. We definitely don't want to click random order, okay? We don't want to click random order because that will then shuffle all the video sequences around. We don't want that. We've created a custom order, okay? And the quality, look, high is good. I guess it depends what you want to do with it. If you're playing this on your computer at home or on your TV in the lounge room, go for the high quality. If you're putting it up on the web, definitely go standard, okay? And once you've done all of that, and you can even just set to do a little bit of a play through down the bottom here, which says preview slideshow. You can click that. This might take way longer than this video allows. It does take a little bit of time to sort of render and read all of the sequences and put the music together. As you can see here, it's preparing each of the video sequences for us to see now. Okay, so that's taking a little bit of time. Okay, you can preview, you can make sure your music fits nicely. It's going to fade out the music at the end, so it doesn't matter if my music goes beyond what I need for these video clips. And then once you're done with that, click export, okay? Click export video, save it, put a name to it, MP show reel, being my Mornington Peninsula show reel, put it on the desktop or somewhere easy where you can find it. And then the video presets. This is important, okay? What are you going to eventually do with this video? Again, if you're playing it on your TV screen, the 1080 at 16:9 ratio is great. And it tells you down the bottom what it's good for, okay? What is each of these sequences or presets good for, okay? This one here, the one down the bottom, which is selected at the moment, is great for high quality, high definition video, okay? For playing on your computer, for playing on your TV. If you're putting it on the internet, for example, it says, look, you go for a lesser quality, which says it's optimized best for things like small handheld devices, probably an iPad, things like that, laptop. This one here, the least quality, the lesser quality, is ones that are best for iPhone. So if you know that this is just going to be viewed through an iPhone and nothing else, select that one, okay? I tend to go with this one here, of course, the YouTube one, the second best quality, because I'm putting it up on my YouTube or I'm putting it up on my website, okay? Obviously, the higher the quality, the longer it's going to take to render the video, okay, for Lightroom to spit it out, but that it's also going to take a little bit longer for it to download, you know, on a device, etc., etc. Let me just search my internet, my computer. What I should have done is made sure that I actually had the final product here. It looks like it's here. Let's just show this. I hope that I have this available because I want to show you the final you know, video that came about based on what I've just taught you here or now. Sorry, a few questions before I do that. Yes, Lynn, I'm shooting on 4K video. It doesn't matter if you are or are not. Obviously, 4K video, the quality is better. I'm shooting with a DJI Mavic 2 Pro, which does shoot in 4K quality. Okay. So, don't worry, Karina, you've missed the start. I'm going to put this, this is an unscheduled video. I was just mucking around. I just remembered I'd made a note for myself here in my notebook to do this tutorial because somebody asked the other day after the drone presentation, how do you edit videos in Lightroom? This is very basic. I am no means an expert. This works for me. I think you'll agree once I show you this video that it comes out quite nicely. It's a quick and easy way for me to edit my drone videos and any videos that I've done on my digital SLR cameras, okay? It's not rocket science, but it's certainly not the best way to do it, but it works for me. Okay, JP said, yes, you could absolutely put your own music if you're talented. That'd be amazing. Get out GarageBand or whatever it's called on Macs and create your own music. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Jan asked, can you add stills in between video? Perfect. That's a great question. Just go back to your library, okay? And in here, in your collection where you've put your video files, just chuck in a few stills, you know, and insert them in between. Absolutely. That's, if you do that, that's where in the slideshow option here, this becomes important, this slide length, okay? What you set that to will determine how long that stills photo stays on the screen in between your video files, okay? I wouldn't encourage you to do any more than about 4 or 5 seconds, no more than that. A stills photo sitting there on the screen for any more than about 5 seconds and people go, I've seen it, I'm bored, move on. I think 5 seconds would be right by the time you crossfade in and out, but do your own tests, okay? Always press this play button here to preview your video before you export it, okay? You don't want to wait all this time for the video to export and then realize that you've stuffed up those slide lengths, okay? So just play with that. But really, I think what people tend to do, from my experience, is they tend to allow far too much time showing a video, each sequence, as well as each photo. People get bored very easily. Well, I do anyway. And after about 4 or 5 seconds, I'm ready to move on. Yep, I've seen that. Show me something else. Make it engaging, make it fluid. Watch other people's videos that you really admire and say to yourself, what is it about these videos that make it so good? What makes it so engaging? Is it the content? I'm sure it's that. Is it the quality of the light? Is it the color in it? Is it the movement? Is it the transitions? Is it how briefly each of these sequences is showed to the video? I bet you it's that last one in particular. You watch a lot of you know, TVs and stuff like TV stuff, movies, etc. They move very quickly, and they move even faster now because our attention spans are even shorter still. So make sure you do that, okay? Jan's got that regarding the the transition times. Could you add also your logo in transparent? You could. I'm not big for having my logo on the video as it's playing, but within the slideshow option here in titles, you can absolutely add, you know, an intro screen that says, you know, welcome, you know, or whatever, you know, this is the Mornington Peninsula. You can do it here. You just click edit, and then you can type in this, you know, this is the Mornington. Let me spell. Peninsula. Okay, you can change the font here, the size of it, etc. You can click OK, and then you can change the size of it here just by using the scale as well. Very basic, very rudimentary. iMovie is probably better than using Lightroom. You can use an end screen as well, so you can then add, you know, whatever at the end. Thanks for watching, or a web address, or anything like that. For this video, I didn't include anything. Or I might have, yes, I did. I probably included an intro screen and an end screen, but they were both black. They were blank, okay? You start the video, starts off blank. Let's have a look, okay? I think I'm pretty much done there. Let's see. Yes, JP says add a scan code to the end where people could use their iPhones to scan the QR code, and that would immediately take their phones to your website to buy prints. You could certainly do that as well. That's clever thinking. I think that's about it, guys. Is there not any more questions before I show you the final video? I'll check back to the comments as well and see if you've got any other comments. But let's play the video. I think this is a good version of it. It says version 1, so I'm hoping that is a good version of it. Let's have a look. Let's double click this to make it bigger. I hope that's filling your screens pretty much. And let's just pull that over to there a second. I think I've got that. Okay, let's play it. All right, so there you go, folks. That was the sort of final edit. There's lots of things wrong with that. Looking back at it again now, couple of things. I think some of the video was a bit too long. I got a little bit bored with looking at some of it, and also too, there's some sequences there where the drone is moving after it's still. So there was the swimmers in the water where it started off as a static drone shot and the swimmers were swimming in the water there, but then I moved as the swimmers moved. Probably not the best way to cut video. In my mind, if you're going to transition into a shot, you either keep the drone still or it's moving. It doesn't move halfway. Hope you get what I mean there. What I'm trying to say is that don't start off with a static shot in a video and then start moving the drone. Just have it move. If you move into a drone sequence, have it so that the drone is moving or it's still not in between halfway. I hope you understand what I'm talking about there. I'm not making real sense. There was one absolute thing that I needed to tell you about, and I have failed to tell you, and it's important, okay? If you are coming into any of your drone sequences here and you decide that they're a little too dark or a little too bright, you can adjust basic functionality here on the left-hand side only in the library module. As we discussed before, you can't do anything in the develop module. So you can click auto on the video and it will, perhaps brighten it or darken it, whatever it needs to do. Or you can, brighten the exposures using these functions here. As I said, it is very limited. You can change the temperature, the tint, the exposure, contrast, whites, blacks, and the vibrance being the color, and make it, a little more vibrant in color, etc. As you can see what I'm doing here, okay? So there are basic controls for exposure and color here, but nothing fabulous. But what I try and do is get it right on my drone in the first place. I only ever shoot in manual, okay? So I have the camera or the video set to manual. I'm always making sure I'm not clipping my highlights, but then at the end of the day, if it's a little too dark in the shadows, I can always come in here to the blacks options, for example, and up the exposure for the blacks, which is a lot like using a shadow slider in the develop module, okay? You can see the adjustments that I'm making there in order to make the blacks blacker or not as clipped as that, and making it a little brighter, things like that. So there are basic adjustments that you can do here within the library module for your video sequences. Any more questions there, guys? Lynn was just saying that she needs to learn to fly the drone a little more smoothly. Yeah, look, that just comes down to practice. And what I find I do, Lynn, is I often just set up a shot by going back and forth with my drone a few times in order to practice the sequence, or I might be moving like I did with the boat. That was all done manually at the start, to be able to fly towards the boat, but then also yawn the drone around from left to right in order to keep the boat in the video there, okay? So that does take practice, okay? Up, down, left, right, moving, all the rest of it. But just get out there and practice. And what I often do is just do a dry run, a practice run back and forth, for example, where I'll say, right, have I got that transition right? Have I worked that smoothly? Okay, now I'll press play, now I'll press record, and now I can record that sequence, all right? So that may well help. If you've got any further questions regarding droning, etc., there's probably some more tips in that video on my website, Lynn. So see how you're going. When am I going to do a presentation on time-lapse? Yeah, I know, JP. Do you know what? It's a great question. If you know anybody who's an expert in time-lapse, let me know. I have that many sequences from years gone by shot on, say, GoPros, where I've shot with the GoPro on the front of a car driving through the Kimberley or even through Iceland. I've got thousands and thousands of photos from 6-7 years ago where I attached the GoPro to the front of the car as we drove through Iceland and just took, one photo every second, as we drove around. That all need to be transitioned into a time lapse. I don't know how to do it myself. There's software to do it. I've downloaded stuff. I've tried to have a play with it. I found it all very confusing. So I should probably revisit it. There's probably some really easy, probably GoPro software allows you to do it. But I know the Nikons, for example, like I showed the other night in my snow landscapes presentation, the Nikons have inbuilt software that allow you to do time lapses, which is really good. David Evans may well know. Is that what you're saying, Nicole or Anders? Yes. Anyway, I hope you found that useful, guys. Just an introduction to editing video in Lightroom, just being able to trim any sequence, put it into a collection, click on the slideshow, select some music, get your transitions right, the crossfades, and then just export it as a video. That's how I did that that 3.5 minute video that I just showed you there. I hope I've given you an insight as to how easy it is to do with a little bit of practice. Just send me an email, tom@tomputt.com, or comment here on Facebook if you've got any further questions. I hope you found that useful. And thanks very much for watching. Cheers, guys. See you later. Bye.